Welcome to the Better Together podcast, where we look for ways we can advance the gospel of Jesus Christ. Today, we have Miss Julie Thomas. She's been working with Samaritan's Purse in the past for more than 9 years. She and her husband, Sonny, are now at the Peace Church in Morristown, Tennessee, and she's going to share with us a bit about her experience with Operation Christmas Child. So, Julie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now, you've got a different kind of experience. So you have the experience of working and bringing boxes together with Operation Christmas Child. You worked with Samaritan's Purse and Operation Christmas Child for over 9 years, and you're going to be heading to Bulgaria. We'll talk about that in a little bit really soon when you'll get to see these boxes distributed. So we wanted to have you on today to share a bit about that. But the first thing I want you to share about is what in the world happened in Morristown over the last couple of weeks. You guys have really collected a lot of shoe boxes, haven't you?
We have. I have a great support system, and at the end, when we got our final total in, we packed 1,606 boxes.
Wow.
It's really exciting. It's overwhelming, really.
Now, that doesn't just happen. And I have to say, I was at the church that your husband pastors, and I saw you stand up and share about Operation Christmas Child. And by the way, it looked like you really like doing that. But anyway, how did you guys kind of get the word out? That was just one example, but this was a long-term effort, wasn't it?
It really is. We actually do kind of about a 6-month collection period. The first year that we collected at Peace, I had actually decided, since we were new, we would take that year off. And it got to be in the fall, and everybody kept saying, no, we really want to do this. And so in 2 months, we collected about 430 boxes in 2 months. And last year we started in May. We started in May, and we were able to collect 1,231 boxes.
Wow.
This year, the Lord just absolutely amazed me again, and we were able to do the 1,606. And so we start in May, and I'll show a video just kind of reminding people of what the ministry is about and what we're doing, and just have an item of the month that we're collecting, let them know, hey, this month we're collecting, whether it's stuffed animals or it's girls' toys or boys' toys. And we do that each month. I'll get up and show a different video. I try to get videos of those who were shoebox recipients when they were children, so they can give their testimony, and then just kind of let everybody know where we are on our collection. And we go through that from about May through probably about the first week of November, and then from there on it just gets really crazy getting the boxes packed.
That's great. Yeah, so it doesn't just happen, it's an all year experience, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah, it's there's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of volunteers, but Peace Church really has a heart for missions and for ministry, and they are wonderful to back this up and to be a wonderful support system.
That's great. And so they've been working, and we know a lot of churches all over the country and really all over the world have been working to put together these shoe boxes. And most people bring them to church, kind of like your folks did last week, and they end up going to the distribution center. And a lot of times we don't know what happens to our box after that. But because of where you all ministered before, living in North Carolina, you were able to spend 9 years really behind the scenes working with Samaritan's Purse. So share with us a bit about what that's like as all these shoe boxes are coming in to North Carolina there.
It's really the first time that you step through the doors, it's the most overwhelming feeling that you'll ever have. You just see these pallets and stacks of shoe boxes everywhere, and it's just amazing. So your boxes are dropped off, and they're sent through the door, and they'll go through an assembly line to where they will be checked to make sure there's nothing that's inappropriate, as in a government of another country won't allow it to come in. And then they're sorted by age and by gender, and they're cartoned. and then they're put back into cargo containers, and they're either flown or sent over on ships. And it's really amazing, the excitement in the air when you're there. You have thousands and thousands of volunteers every year. Samaritan's Purse just could not do it without all the volunteers. And you get the chance to meet shoebox recipients who are now working for Operation Christmas Child as they go around speaking at different churches. And it's really just an amazing experience. Anyone that has the opportunity to go to Boone or even to Charlotte, because they do have a distribution center in Charlotte, I really suggest you go. Even if it's off season, go in there, take a tour, just see what God is doing. It's really amazing at how these one little small box can change a life for eternity. And it's, for me, it's just a passion the Lord has given me. And I think of one box is more than one soul, because one box, it actually affects more than one person. It's like a ripple effect. Who brings the children to these distributions? Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, grandmas, aunts, uncles. So not only do the children get to hear the gospel, it's also the family gets to hear the gospel. And through one little gift, maybe that child has never received a gift, and they're thinking, who sent me this gift? And then they realize that Jesus loved them so much that he sent them that gift through someone else. And that's the whole gist of it. Just sharing the love of Christ with those who have never heard of him, never known of him. Just letting them know that there is a hope, and there is an eternal hope that, that is unlike anything else that they've ever experienced in their life.
That's great. And so there are some ways where people go online and see videos of some of what you're talking about. But
Yes.
like you said, if they could stop in Charlotte or stop in Boone, it's really a good example of people working together.
Oh, it is. It's
Gospel.
amazing. You'll work beside of someone you've never met, and by the time you leave, you feel like you've made a best friend, because you're there with a common goal to get those boxes processed and into the hands of those so that they can hear about the love of Jesus.
Oh, that's great. So you've had the experience we mentioned of bringing together where people are bringing boxes. You've had the experience behind the scenes of seeing what happens in the distribution center where they're putting the boxes together, but
Yes.
you're about to have the experience of seeing boxes distributed. So, wow, tell us a bit about that.
I'm very excited. Been trying to get to Bulgaria for 4 years, but I'm excited. We're going to be having several different distributions where we'll have little small groups in different community centers, maybe a few in churches. But the amazing thing is that we're able to go into communities that have no churches. They've never heard about Jesus Christ. They have no idea, but they're excited because they know that they're going to get something. But what they don't realize is they're getting something even more. They're going to see and feel the love of Jesus. Even though they've never heard of him, they're going to know it. We'll be traveling in several different cities and a lot of smaller communities, little villages, and doing the distributions. And we'll share the gospel, and we're going to get to freely share the gospel. That's the amazing thing, in areas that the gospel isn't allowed. And so they're just excited for us to be coming. And there's about a dozen of us going. We're splitting up in 2 groups and going in different directions. We'll be just sharing the love of Jesus. If they don't see it, hear it in our words, they're going to see it in our actions, just how much Jesus loves them. And while we're there, this is something that's very exciting for me personally. While talking to one of our missionaries, they mentioned that there's a young lady that received a shoebox as a child, and now she's there serving with them. And while I'm there, I'm going to try to get an interview with this young lady and let her give her story of how that shoebox has impacted her life, so that we can share that with churches here, and they can see exactly how much of an impact they truly are making. To me, I'm excited about it, to be able to hear firsthand and meet someone that has never been able to tell their story really to us of how God changed their life eternally just through that little simple gift.
That's great. So you'll get to meet a person who is ministering to others because
Yes,
of receiving a shoebox back a few years ago, we should say,
yes,
and now is helping others. And you'll get to see how it has quite an impact in a place where the gospel is often not shared. And we should also point out a place that has been impacted by war and the results of that. So there'll be likely a lot of children who've been impacted in this place because of some of the events in that part of the country in the last few months. So
yes. There are, I know that there are a lot of refugees that have come over seeking help and just to get away from the war. And so we may be able to, to meet some of these people and to minister to them and to just show them, if nothing else, through our actions, how much they're loved and they are cared about. And there is someone who is always going to be there for them, even when we personally cannot. There is a loving God who sent his son just for them, and that he loves them and he's there for them through everything they're going through.
that's great. And so we should probably point out all of this is within a matter of days. And so it was
Yes.
just this past week that boxes came in, and you've got the past experience of being there in Boone and Charlotte. And then in a few more days, you'll be able to go and see these boxes distributed, which is pretty cool. It's not that far. It's tied to Christmas,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's pretty.
It's pretty exciting, really. I like I said, I want to hurry up, pack my luggage now, and go ahead and go.
There you go. Well, Julie, we just appreciate the good work that you're doing, what you're doing first as a pastor's wife, how you've served the Lord so faithfully over all these years, you and your husband, Sonny, and your family, and how you're ministering in this way and just providing us a good example and some good information about how we can get involved as well. So thank you for the good work that you're doing, my friend.
Well, thank you for allowing me to just give my testimony about this ministry just a little bit, and just continue to pray for all of us as we travel, that the Lord will keep us safe and give us the energy that we're going to need to get everything done and accomplished while we're there. And just pray that we can share the love of Christ with those there.
Absolutely. We will do that. And we want to thank you all who've joined us today. We want to encourage you to take this podcast, share it. Maybe you could use it to help your church to know what's happening behind the scenes with those boxes that they're putting together and sending off to Samaritan's Purse, or to help get a ministry like this started in your church. We encourage you to use it any way you can. And remember, every little bit we do helps. This is a good example of how we're truly better together. Let us be better together and share the gospel of Jesus Christ.